Hello, welcome to Learn English and Practice with Marie. Today we're going to do Advanced Vocabulary Builder lesson number 20, where we'll go through 10 advanced words and talk about their definitions, parts of speech, and a couple of example sentences. We'll end with a story that uses all of those words. So let's hop in. Prescient, Wily, Sanctimonious, Allay, mitigate, bias, deface, deferential, spurious, commensurate. First, prescient. This means to have foreknowledge of events. It's an adjective. So someone who's prescient, you might say is clairvoyant or can see into the future, perhaps just has general knowledge of what's likely to happen. So that is prescient. Here are a couple of examples. The company's prescient investment in emerging technology paid off handsomely. The prescient author accurately predicted the societal changes that would come in the future. Here's Wily, skilled at gaining an advantage, especially deceitfully, an adjective. Those of you who are maybe a little older, like me, have seen perhaps the Wily Coyote in old cartoons. So this coyote was always getting into trouble with the Roadrunner, where he would be creating traps and getting into mischief. So some examples here are the wily fox managed to evade the hounds and escape into the woods. The wily poker player managed to bluff his way to victory. Here's sanctimonious. This means giving a hypocritical appearance of piety, an adjective. So someone who is part of a church, but who is actively doing things that go against the values of the church, but still trying to appear very holy, would be sanctimonious. So, and there is kind of a religious connotation with this word, but it can be used in a lot of general ways too. Some examples here are the sanctimonious preacher preached about morality while living a life of vice. The sanctimonious teacher would often lecture her students on the importance of hard work while grading their assignments unfairly. Here's allay. This means to soothe or ease. It's a verb. So I'll hear often like allaying concerns, and this word is kind of common. This is a good one to learn. Some examples here are the soothing music helped allay the baby's cries and put him to sleep. The doctor's reassurance helped allay the patient's fears about the upcoming procedure. Here's mitigate. This means to make less severe, serious, or painful. It's a verb. So you might want to mitigate a potential problem. So try to get ahead of it and make sure it's not going to be so bad. Some examples here are the use of air conditioning helped to mitigate the effects of the heat wave. The city implemented traffic calming measures to mitigate the risk of accidents in residential areas. Here's bias. This means a tendency or inclination. It's a noun. So often companies and organizations are trying to avoid gender or racial bias. It's treating people differently or assuming different things based off of who people are. This tendency or inclination to believe specific things just based off of the circumstances is a form of bias. Examples here are the news anchor tried to report the story without bias, but it was clear that they favored one political party over the other. It is important to acknowledge your own biases and try to remain objective in decision making. Here's deface. This means to ruin or injure something's appearance. It's a verb. So often people will refer to graffiti artists, as you'll see in the next example, as defacing public property. You'll also see perhaps people throwing rocks at abandoned buildings' windows. That would be a form of defacing. So examples here are the vandal defaced the statue with spray paint and graffiti. And graffiti If you see spray paint in colorful designs, that is graffiti. The second example is the suspect was caught on camera trying to deface the mural on the side of the building. Here's deferential. This means showing respect for another's authority. It's an adjective. You will also hear the word defer. So I defer to you. To be deferential is the adjective version of that. So you would want to be deferential perhaps to your boss. If your boss is making a decision and you're just going to go along with it. Or you might be deferential to your elders, to, for example, a grandparent, because you respect them. Examples here are the child was deferential towards their parents, always obeying their rules and respecting their authority. The waiter was deferential towards the customers, anticipating their needs and providing excellent service. Here's spurious. False but designed to seem plausible. It's an adjective. So something that's spurious is kind of a decoy. It's something that's not really true. So an example here is if you see a joke can of peanuts and you open it and the snakes come out, that is something that's spurious. That can was spurious. It was actually a trick, even though it seemed like a can of peanuts. Examples here are the news story was based on spurious information and had to be retracted. The scientific studies results were dismissed as spurious because of flaws in the methodology and data analysis. Here's commensurate. This means corresponding in size or amount. It's an adjective. In job descriptions, you'll see that compensation is commensurate based on years of experience. That's a company's way of saying, we're not going to tell you how much we're actually going to pay. But what that sort of thing is saying is that the amount that you'll be offered for pay is going to depend on your experience, and it's going to be reflective of that experience, proportional to it. Examples here are the salary offered for the job was commensurate with the level of experience and qualifications required. The resources allocated to the project were commensurate with the expected outcome and impact. So let's do a little review story. I'll go through it and you'll see all the words within this story. John was a successful businessman with a prescient sense for emerging markets and wily negotiation tactics. However, his success was also fueled by his sanctimonious behavior towards his employees, which created a tense atmosphere in the office. One day, vandals threatened to deface the company's building. John quickly sprang into action, working to allay the concerns of customers and stakeholders. He also took steps to mitigate the damage and prevent the issue from happening again. Despite his good intentions, John's bias towards certain employees and his deferential treatment of others was exposed in the aftermath of the incident. His previously spurious claims of treating everyone equally were now called into question. However, John recognized his mistakes and made commensurate efforts to rectify the situation, offering apologies and equal opportunities to all employees. In the end, the incident served as a wake-up call for John, teaching him to be more mindful of his actions and words. So, listen to me pronounce these words one last time. Prescient, Wily, Sanctimonious, Allay, Mitigate, Bias, Deface, Deferential, Spurious, Commensurate. Great job today. This is a series, so there are other videos just like this one, and I'll put playlists and videos down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me what you think of these words down in the comments. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.